All right, 49er fans, we have a lot of fallout this week. As you know, the San Francisco 49ers are on a bye week, which means we had to pay attention to a lot of games. So we're going to start with the game that had the least amount of implications on the San Francisco 49ers, and that is the Lions and the Packers. Now, the reason this has implications is because the Detroit Lions look to be the best team in the NFC, and you want to see if that continues. It definitely did. Jared Goff, listen, I know that if you look at the statistics, it's not going to be overwhelming, but when you watch that game and you realize that they were playing in heavy rain with wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour, and then you look at that stat line again, you realize, wow, he actually played very efficient. In his first outdoor game of the year, the Detroit Lions only have, I believe, 3 outdoor games this year. This was the first one, and it was in awful weather, yet they still find a way to put up 24 points and win 24-14 and really kind of took their foot off the gas offensively there towards the end. They were just trying to get away with a win and probably get away healthy. And then you also look at how they won the game. You had Dion Branch go out of that game, who's their best secondary player. They're already without Hutchinson. So that defense played very, very well on the road. And actually, the Detroit Lions beating the Green Bay Packers is probably good for the 49ers because now, if the 49ers beat the Packers and there's a tiebreaker situation later on in the season, that's going to be very helpful for the San Francisco 49ers. But right now, Detroit, and it sounds like they're going to land Zadarius Smith, maybe more at the trade deadline, but Zadarius Smith should be a Detroit line within the next 24 hours per insiders. So that's a major boost for them. And we talked about this. I said a couple weeks ago that when Hutchinson got hurt, the major fallout for the San Francisco 49ers was simply they will be going after the same edge defenders. And the Detroit Lions will be more desperate than the San Francisco 49ers because they lost not only Hutchinson, but they lost their other starting defensive end. And here we go. Zadarius Smith is a guy that I believe the 49ers were probably in on, but the Detroit Lions are the more desperate team. They are going to land him, and we'll see if they can go land anybody else. But the Detroit Lions right now seem to be on a mission to get back to that NFC championship game. Hopefully, the 49ers can meet them there. But if they are going to meet them there, we're going to have to look at how this division goes. And we went through this last week, the schedule for the 49ers, the Cardinals, and the Rams. And those are the 3 teams that I believed going into this week would be fighting for the division. I felt like the Rams probably had the best chance to win it. And looking at the way the division played out this week, first of all, the Arizona Cardinals absolutely dominant at home, 29-9 versus the Chicago Bears. And you got to wonder, do the Chicago Bears have really anything left after losing a Hail Mary or losing to a Hail Mary rather last week and then falling flat on their face? Maybe they come back down to earth. And now that 49ers Bears game later in the year isn't as tough as maybe we originally thought. But the Arizona Cardinals continue to find a way to win. And I believe they've won 3 straight now. San Francisco hasn't even won 2 straight yet. So this is a team that has a very easy schedule down the stretch. They're finding a way to win games. They're getting healthier as this season goes along. The Arizona Cardinals are not a team that we can just put away and think that they're going to fall off and not be there in the end. That is going to be a big game in the final week of the season. But let's talk about the Seahawks and the Rams. This game had a little bit of everything. Cooper Kupp was back last week, played again this week, as did Puka Nacua. But Puka Nacua, who seems to be pretty even-keeled, mild-mannered, got himself thrown out of this game in the first half by throwing a punch. And you start to wonder, man, the Rams are losing at halftime. They're on the road. Can they win this game without Puka Nacua? Well, there was some times where that game got iffy, but Geno Smith Geno Smith. I will say Geno Smith probably had 4 throws in this game that were absolutely incredible. Throws that the top of the top level quarterbacks can only make in this league. But then he does Geno Smith things. He had 2 turnovers in the red zone, 2 interceptions, not just in the red zone, but near the end zone, inside the 10-yard line. One in the end zone. If they walk away with 6 points there, that's a completely different game. They go to overtime. Geno Smith makes a couple more incredible throws. It looks like they have a chance to win. They go for it on 3rd down and short, don't get it. They go for it on 4th down and short, don't get it. And then you've given Matthew Stafford way too many attempts to try to win this thing. And Matthew Stafford, being the elite quarterback that he is, absolutely delivers the dagger. They only need a field goal, mind you, but nope. Matthew Stafford is going for it all, throws a deep touchdown pass, walk-off touchdown. And here we go. The Rams and the Cardinals coming out of the bye are now above the San Francisco 49ers. Now, remember, the Rams and the 49ers have the same record because they both had their bye week, but the Rams beat the San Francisco 49ers, so they own that tiebreaker, which means that game is going to be uber important here in about 4 weeks. And then the Cardinals have one more win because they've played the one more game, and they are first in that division because they've beaten not only the Rams, but they've beaten the San Francisco 49ers. This division is going to be super tight. Luckily for the 49ers, they should be getting CMC back. They've got 2 games in a row coming up that I think they're absolutely going to win. And then things get really, really interesting because you've got the Packers, the Bills coming off a bye, Chicago, which again, we just talked about Chicago not looking so great. But then you play the Rams and you finish your season against the Lions and then the Cardinals. It's not going to be easy to make the playoffs, but the 49ers have the path in front of them to get it done. They're going to have to win, I believe, 3 games, all 3 games to have a chance. And that is the Packers, that is the Rams, and that is the Cardinals. If they win those 3, they are a lock for the playoffs. If they lose those 3, I believe they're going to fall short of the playoffs. Can they get it done? Can they go on the run that we've seen them make in the last couple of years? But that is this week's fallout. This week's fallout is the division is clearly extremely, extremely